Welcome to Phonics Time Together. This is my first ever video, so thank you for giving it a go. The aim of these sessions is to ensure that your children continue their development as readers. And I felt the best way to do this was by providing some support so you and your child can work together through this. Your child will learn new sounds that will set them up to read more words. You too will also learn as you'll discover how phonics is taught in schools. The video can also be played by the children on their own after they've built up the required confidence. They might already know the new sound but could benefit from a little more practice. I'll guide you through each section and let you know when to pause and what to do. I'll also give you the knowledge needed to help your child. I use something called letters and sounds to sequence the graphemes taught and as a structure for the sessions. I'll explain key vocabulary like grapheme as we go along. Phase 3, which you're making a start on, is taught in Foundation Stage 2, or Reception, as some people call it. This takes place roughly a third of the way through the F2 year. So today's video is ideal if your child is in F2, but it can be useful if they're in other years and need a little bit more help with their reading. Okay. The structure of our time together will generally be the same. This consistency is an effective way to help build up children's confidence and reading ability. So we'll start by revisiting some graphemes your child should know and aim to build up their recognition speed. We'll learn a tricky word, but maybe not in every session, but quite a few. We'll learn the new phoneme, which is the sound for a given grapheme. We'll practice reading some words with that given grapheme in them, and then we'll apply that learning when we're trying to read a piece of text or some sentences. And then I'll give you a couple of suggestions on what you might want to do as a writing activity to follow up this reading session. Today's the first session of Phase 3, where we'll be looking at J or J. In each video I'll teach you another grapheme from this phase, so don't worry too much about them as yet, as your child will not need them until we get to them. I haven't started with Phase 2 at this point in the year, as most children are comfortable with that. Phase 3 it's also a phase where some older children start to have gaps, so they should find this quite useful as well. When we revisit some of these grapheme phoneme correspondences, or I might call them GPCs for short, we'll go over the ones that they should already know. So in front of you, you can see what we call Phase 2 and all the different sets. They should be pretty comfortable with these. Your child will have learned these early in F2 and sometimes in nursery. However, we need to revisit them for two reasons. One, so they're not forgotten, and two, to try and increase their speed at which they recognise them, as that's really vital for reading. So we've got S, A, in set 1, I, N, M, D for set 2, G, O, K, K, set 3, K, E, O, R for set 4, H, B, F, F, L, S for set 5. And this phase of the video, your child will have a practice of those sounds. They'll be asked to see if they're ready. All four of the graphemes will then be displayed, and they need to say each one as they appear. I will then, when they run the sound, if they run the slides at the end, I will then tell them those sounds just so they can check if they got them right. S, A, T, P. K, G, D, M. E, O, R, K. H, F, L, S. So the children have had a go at saying those. They've heard me say them as well to double check. You can also support them with any that they might still be weak at. And then what we do is have another go, but we're trying to go a little bit faster. So what we would want is this sort of speed, and then the child saying them as they appeared. I'll now play through all these graphemes and finish this little session off so you can see the sort of speed that they should be saying them at. Okay, so when they've done that, and the video a little bit later, they've done the speeds, give them a bit of praise, be specific and say, you know, wow, that's really fast, I can't believe how clear you were, you're getting so good at those, I never knew you knew all those, or little high five, fist bump, have your own little special celebration to say well done. Okay, today's tricky word is he. Now the tricky bit is actually the E. So we know it as an E, but children at this point will have learned it as a E. So to them this would say he. but actually we want the E sound, so this is he. Now with the tricky word, what is useful is to get your child to read it a few times. I'd say at least 3 times, so they can practice reading he. A good activity is that at this point you could say my turn, he, your turn, and then the child will then read the word, but they've had your example to help them along. J in jug, J in jar, J in juice. So today's GPC is J. What I do is introduce a few letters, a few pictures or photos that show today's grapheme, and I will get them to say the J sound at least 3 times. I might ask them to say it in a different voice, and you can do that as well. So at this point in the video later, you might just pause it and get them to say it lots and lots of times. They could go into a different room and tell their brother this sound, or make it as fun as you can. Let's say this grapheme lots and lots of times before we then move on to start reading some words. At this point in the video, I thought it's useful to introduce this idea of blending. So when a child comes across an unfamiliar word, they can't just say jug. They need to use their phonics knowledge to try and say all the elements of the word and then blend those bits back together. So for the example on the screen, j or g, jug. What we would want is that the child says a phoneme or a sound for each of the blue dots, and then blend those back together, so sort of stick them back together so that they can make the word. So j or g, jug. So a child would have learnt the new grapheme of j, and the next task is to have a go at reading some words with j in them. On this slide I put the sound buttons on them, so if they see a blue dot, one of the sound buttons, they know that they've got to say a sound, or we call that a phoneme. So for number 1, j, a, m, jam. Number 2, j, e, l, jill. Number 3, j, e, t, jet. Number 4, j, o, g, jog. Number 5, j, e, n, jen. Number 6, j, e, t, jet. Lag, lag, jet lag. Number 7, j, a, k, et, jacket. Number 8, oh, there's our tricky word, and we'll make a little bit of fun of that our tricky words have reappeared because it gives them some more practice. We've got our tricky word, he. If the children have had lots of turns at using and lots of practice at using the sound buttons, a good thing to do now is ask them if they can read the words, because we don't want them always going j, a, m. We want them to read the word jam. So you could have pause the video when you get to this bit later on and let them just have a go at them. They might still be having to blend for some, but they might be increasing their fluency as they've had more and more practice. Again, give them a big thumbs up, lots of praise for doing some wonderful reading. For some children that might be a real struggle, so we can praise them for being resilient and not giving up. And just say well done for learning a new sound and being able to read lots of new words with that sound in them. Really, really positive. Okay, so you'll notice that here they've got no photos that actually help the children, because with reading in our national curriculum, it says that children should use phonics as the sort of primary tool for tackling unfamiliar words. So we don't want them to looking around the page and trying to figure out what a word is. We're going to just use our phonics. So there's no photos to help. And I've identified today's grapheme in red to help them, just to remind them that's what they've been working on today. So at this point in the video, you would pause it and allow them to read the sentences. They might be blending like earlier, j, e, n, jen, or they might be reading some fluently in it, so you might get a mixture. So it might sound like this: j, e, n, jen had f or n fun on a j, jet. And that's fine, that's because the child's not fluent yet, but lots and lots of practice, and they will start to read it as Jen had fun on a jet. After you've finished with this video and your child's worked through the slides in a moment, you might want to rewind the video and practice certain sections again at different points. More practice is going to be exactly what your children need to become fluent readers. I would, if you wanted to do a little bit of writing, pause the screen on j maybe get them to turn away from the screen so they can't see the words. You say the words and they have a go at writing them. You can have some writing practice. I think the most important thing though is that you also read an amazing book together. So maybe choose a wonderful storybook and read it to your child so they can see you as a reader, because that's what really inspires our children the most. At this point in the video, I want to say a huge thank you for spending the time having a look through the video and learning a little bit more about phonics, and I wish you the best of luck with it, and I hope that you tune in to see a few more videos helping your child learn some new sounds and read lots of new words. Okay, the next bit of the video is where you might want to ask your child to come and sit with you, and you're going to work through the slides that you've seen together and get them practicing their phonics. Okay, I hope you sat comfortable, ready for your sounds. Let's see how many sounds we know. Let's go. Are we ready? S, A, T, P. K, G, D, N. E, O, R, K. Okay, I won't be joining in with you this time because you need to do it super fast. We've got a need for speed, so let's go super fast. Over to you. Wow, super fast sounds. That's excellent. Wow, I'm very impressed. Okay, now we've practiced our sounds. I'm going to teach you a tricky word. Today's tricky word is he. It starts with a h, but then it's got an e sound, and it doesn't make a sound. It makes an e sound, which makes it tricky. Today's tricky word is he. He. My turn. He. Your turn. Well done. Can you say our tricky word 3 more times? Excellent work. Well, we've got j in jug, j in jar, j in juice. Today's grapheme is j. Can you say the grapheme? Okay. Can you say the grapheme 3 more times? Fantastic. It was great to hear j, j, j. I wonder if you can say today's grapheme j in a princess voice. What would a giant say in a giant's voice? Can you say it as fast as you can? Fabulous. Today's grapheme is j. Let's read some words with j in them. Let's have a go at this one and remind ourselves about blending. If we see the blue dots, they are our sound buttons. They tell us to say each sound, and then we blend them back together. My turn. J or G. Jug. Your turn. Fantastic. Now, we're going to use that for our 8 words today. Okay, can you have a go at number 1, please? J, A, M, jam. Well done. Number 2. J, I, L, Jill. Number 3. J, E, T, jet. Fabulous. Number 4. Have I got number 4, please? J, O, G, jog. Number 5. J, E, N, Jen. Number 6. This one's a little bit trickier. J, E, T, jet. Lag, lag. Jet lag. Number 7. J, A, K, E, T, jacket. Number 8. There's our tricky word again. Can you remember it? Well done if you said he. Okay, let's have a go at reading some of those words without the sound buttons. At this point, you might want to pause the video while you work on them. Okay, so if you are still reading them, please pause the video and carry on reading them. If you've done them and your reading is flying, let's fly on. Great work, great work. So we've blended and we've had a go at reading them fluently. I'm really impressed. We're going to finish today's session off by reading some sentences with our new grapheme. We've got 3 sentences to work on, and the third one looks a little bit tricky, but I think you can do it. Okay, you might want to pause the video now so that you can work on these sentences. Great work everyone, working on your phonics today. Really impressed. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe so that you're ready to learn from a few more of my videos. If you've got any comments or questions, please add them below. I look forward to seeing them. See you soon everybody.